So we said monitoring and evaluation on issues impacting on women regarding peace and security are of utmost importance in South Africa and ever-changing world. Research has shown that peace processes that involve women have more chances of being sustainable. Monitoring and evaluation processes will assist with addressing historical injustices and imbalances socially and culturally, which have served as barriers in the advancement of women. I think we all concur that that is a statement particularly why we're here. And the rationale behind that is, the rationale behind monitoring and evaluation is to support the formulation of policies, efficiency, and effectiveness of their implementation processes, which would include accountability, evaluation, and desired outcomes. So we've tried to just give an overall overview of why do we need this monitoring, right? Policy vacuum. Okay, so we looked at various, where we are currently as South Africa in terms of action plans, right? And luckily we had a representative from DIRCO who gave us information that at the moment there is an NDP regulation or policy that doesn't have an execution plan. So first, and I believe this is why we're actually working towards establishing that plan. If you could just go back. Yeah. Okay, so policy vacuum on the issues of women, peace and security at national level. So, like I said earlier, NDP has stipulated policy, but there is no actual plan to execute those policies. And then UNA, so we need to align it to UNA, USADC. Our national plan needs to align to those regions as well. Okay, so implementation challenges. So we actually had a long list because we all gave our input. So implementation challenges include accuracy and verification processes. So at the moment, we're now working on an assumption that there is a plan and there are underlying factors that need to be resolved, which the other groups addressed. We're now saying what would be an implementation challenge in executing or monitoring those processes to efficiently make sure that you're effective. So these are the challenges: accuracy and verification of process, standardization, monitoring, and evaluating processes, isolation of gender data. Now that particular one speaks to the data that secondary data. So we're talking to data that exists, statistics, South Africa, any other research institution has done some sort of research and they've got some sort of data. But we feel that that data is not isolated to gender-based all the time. So we propose that some sort of re-evaluation of the data that exists takes place. And then we've got transformation of processes. So we need to transform existing processes. And we also looked at existing, so for instance, we would go back to the NDP and understand what they currently have stipulated. And then, quality management. So quality management would refer to the quality of data that you receive and how you would interpret that, particularly in making decisions and in reporting. So we understand that the reporting process is going to be at different levels with different constituencies, right? So there's a level that would report to SADC, a level that would report to different levels. So we will assist, we believe that the implementation and evaluation process needs to cater for that. So this is just now reiterating the variables that we looked at. We're obviously talking about women, peace, and security monitoring and evaluation. So this is the reason why we're doing this entire research. We looked at the independent variables, and we said that those include stakeholders, institutions. We looked at global, which would be UN, continental, which would be AU, regional, which would be SADC, country would be South Africa. So we just tried to stipulate the stakeholders that we would need to incorporate in coming up with the entire process of monitoring. Because you cannot start monitoring from just a South African perspective if this is going to be some sort of global initiative, right? We need to understand what SADC is doing, what UN is doing, what AU is doing, and pull from there different aspects that will make our local implementation a success. Okay, so we also, we spoke about NGOs. We believe NGOs have a lot of input, particularly in monitoring and evaluation. So think of a rural area where somebody does not necessarily have access to a telephone or some sort of connectivity. You know, if they have an NGO within the area, NGOs can give very important information about particularly rural areas. So there has to be consideration for NGOs at local and private sector as well. Okay, so lastly, the actions to be included in the action plan, particularly on monitoring and evaluation, they include to stipulate frequency of reporting to various stakeholders. So there has to be some sort of process that is drafted to say how often do we report specific issues, with the assumption that we would not have an existing IT system that can give you information in real time. So while we're working towards that, we would suggest that the frequency of reporting to be clearly stipulated. Collaborate existing structures. So I think a lot of people have alluded to there's so many structures, there needs to be some sort of collaboration. Facilitate and gather secondary and primary data for gender-specific research. We've spoken about that. Specify budgeting requirements to implement efficient monitoring and evaluation systems. So this is very critical because when it comes to evaluation, I think we all eventually reach consensus that technology can alleviate a lot of inefficiencies and bring us closer to real data in real time. So there has to be a section where we address the issue of budgeting for implementing this monitoring and evaluation and getting it right. Okay, monitor the outcomes versus the targets. Okay, and then identify systems that are technology-based. Implement, I think there's a lady that mentioned a system that former minister, right? Namola. So let's look at those different technologies that exist. We don't want to reinvent the wheel. Look at existing technology, implement integrated IT systems for monitoring and evaluating for the purpose of accurate data collection, effectiveness of policy implementation, real-time collecting of data and reporting, and then ease of access to information segmented by any parameter. And also particularly reporting. So if you have to report today to the UN, you don't have to send an email to a lot of people, it's all in real time, and this is a dream. It is not impossible. I strongly believe we can actually get to that point as a country. It will take time, it will take money, but I think it will resolve a lot of issues. So thank you so much.